Living West Michigan is thrilled to welcome back a familiar face. Candace Smith, the woman behind Tours Around Michigan, takes us on unforgettable journeys across Grand Rapids all year round. We previously joined her for a spine-tingling ghost tour, and now we're back for a fascinating historic homes tour. Get ready to step back in time and explore the stories behind Heritage Hill. We are here on Madison Avenue in Grand Rapids, one of the largest historic homes districts. Is that correct?
Yes, so we're in Heritage Hill, and Heritage Hill is the largest contiguous historic home district in the nation. So what that means is that it's one big piece. Home next to home next to home, 1,300 registered historic homes right here. There are more than 60 architectural styles here because these were built by pioneers, building, their lives here, their businesses here. So every single home has the personality of the person that built it in there.
Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of different unique styles today.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're going to get started, take a little walk.
Yes.
See what we can find.
Yeah. The addresses in Grand Rapids all changed in 1912. Because they renumbered all the streets.
Confusing.
So sometimes you'll find an address that's before 1912, but you have to figure out what it was turned into to be able to find the current house.
Okay.
Now the house right here on the corner, this one was built in 1878, but as an Italianate house. Now today, it looks nothing like an Italianate house. That's because the front door to this Italianate actually faced Logan Street. So in Heritage Hill, it wasn't unusual for homes on corners to get different owners. And then the owners were like, we really don't want this style of house. I really would like this. And so instead of just changing the front of the house, they would switch it to the other side, change the address, and create a new front to what their house would be. Right over here, this house, this is kind of a Tudor style house right here. This one is now the welcome center for the Meyer May House. Okay. So with the Frank Lloyd Wright house that's here. Yeah. And one thing that's really funny about this house is it was already here when the Meyer May House was designed. Now, when Frank Lloyd Wright was working on the Meyer May House, he absolutely hated this house. And so when he designed the Meyer May House, he made sure that as few windows as possible were facing this house. So you'll see on that side, it's essentially brick. The May family moved into this house in 1909. This was the eyesore of the neighborhood when this was put up. People hated this house. They just thought it was not fitting in the neighborhood. You have all these welcoming porches and all these different homes. And in this home, you really don't know where the front door is. You literally have to be told where the front door is. So if you start to walk around the house, you're like, oh, maybe that's, nope, maybe that, nope, like you can't find it. So how you find the front door here is that you had to follow the red path. You had to go up this path, and then you go in this low-hanging area.
Yeah.
So this was a concept that Frank Lloyd Wright called compress and release. So you would come into a place, it would feel like you were being kind of squeezed in. So that includes this, the low ceiling. When you go in there, it's just that little entryway, and you immediately turn and go upstairs. And then you turn again and go up another set of stairs. And then the release part is when you got to the top, that you went from feeling kind of confined to suddenly it just opened up. And it's not surprising that the May family would build a house that was so unusual. They were business people, they were clothiers. Meyer May, he was the very first person ever to put hangers in stores.
Really? Huh.
And because of that, Frank Lloyd Wright put something in this house that he really didn't put in any of the other houses, and that was closets.
Oh, so that makes sense.
Closets in this house.
Cool.
Yeah, Frank Lloyd Wright was quite the character.
Yeah.
So when Frank Lloyd Wright designed this house for the Mays, he made every decision, not only just what the house looked like, they were contracted to use furniture he designed. Also, he chose where it went on the lot and how much of the lot was used. Well, this lot, like many on this block, used to go all the way to the next street. So when Meyer May designed it, he decided not to use that. And so a few years later, Mr. Leonard, who is a business owner in town, came to Meyer May and said, hey, I'd really like to buy that lot. I just want to build a little bungalow on it. So the bungalow ended up being a 6,000 square foot Mediterranean house.
Little bungalow.
With a 2-story built-in organ. And so the little bungalow essentially takes up every square inch. Like, you can see how close it is to the line. Yeah. Definitely would not pass now, being that close to the property line. So this home was an 1880s home. One story I really love about it is the carriage house. Initially it was built to hold horses. And then when they finally got a car, they didn't want to go through the hassle of having to back the car out of the garage. So instead, you would pull the car into this garage, which was an old horse stall that they turned into a garage. And it would essentially be on like a turntable where you could crank it and the car would turn around, and then you'd never have to back the car out. You just pull straight out.
I need one of those.
I know, just like I have at home. So we're standing in front of a 1914 Edwardian house. It's a really cool style. This was built by Harry Leonard. He had inherited his business from his father, who was Charles Leonard, who lived just kitty corner. And so he was president of the Leonard Refrigerator Company. In the earlier 1900s, 1 out of every 6 refrigerators sold in the world was a Leonard. And they were the largest employer in Grand Rapids for a long time, and obviously a very significant company worldwide. So it's beautiful inside. Let's go inside.
Let's go in. We also had the chance to speak with Ken, one of the current owners of the Leonard House.
So the heating system in here was really unique. In fact, I think my feet are a little toasty just from being in here.
So back in the day, he had the typical big octopus coal furnace under our feet here, but he hung radiators from the floor joists underneath the whole first floor, which heated the floor, and then of course that heat would rise up, and that's the way he heated.
So they were a refrigerator company, so they probably knew a little bit about like pipes and things like that.
There were many.
Yeah.
But about 15 or so years ago, this was turned into a bed and breakfast. We have 8 guest rooms, 6 on the second floor, 2 on the third floor. And it's open all year long, and we just welcome guests from literally all around the world. And it's been a very exciting experience.
Yeah, it has been brought back beautifully. One thing they had here was a central vacuum, which is no longer functional, but you can see it right back here, one of the outlets for it. So there's still a massive unit in the basement. It's so big that it's essentially impossible to get out, so it's still here. But it's kind of cool that they still have those little pieces here. What we also have in here is the Leonard cleanable refrigerator. So these are really cool. So let's open one up and take a look, and I will tell you why these were so special and why these sold so well. Most of the ice boxes were just this inside. They were wood or sometimes metal. So Charles Leonard, what he did was create ceramic inserts. So you can see the ceramic inserts right here. So it became the Leonard cleanable refrigerator, because this is a heck of a lot easier to clean than this or this, right? Yeah. So that's how the big business really started. But you can see on the label, it does say the Leonard cleanable refrigerator. So they were calling them refrigerators back then.
Wow. I wouldn't have guessed that's what this was when we first saw it.
So this used to be an area where the horses could actually come through. So you could just pull the horse right in here, get off, come on in the house. There's still a little evidence that the horses were here, because if you look here, you can see where the horses were probably tied up here, and they got a little bored, so they started to chew on the wood here.
A horse garage, if you will.
Yeah, it was kind of a walkthrough, yeah.
Heritage Hill hasn't always been the vibrant neighborhood it is now. It's gone through quite a transformation to become what it is today.
As the neighborhood changed, so did these homes. So with Heritage Hill, our first homes are from the 1840s that we still have here. By the late 1930s, you started having some of the original owners, they were passing away. People started getting cars, moving out to the suburbs, and that left many of these houses empty. 1940s happens, World War II, we get all these people coming back. They need places to live with their new families. So many of these houses get cut up into apartments. Finally, with urban renewal, we're getting toward the late 60s, early 70s, and there was a plan that would have demolished about 3/4 of Heritage Hill. And so the owners here worked with state legislature to get laws passed and enforced that essentially said you can't use federal money to demolish a historic building. And that was passed just a few days before the project was approved that would have ripped out the majority of this historic home district. Wow. So that is what saved us so close. And now it's amazing. It's one of the most beautiful historic home districts in the nation. One reason for that is that there are strict rules here. If you own a house here, anything on the outside of the house has to be approved by a committee. You can only use materials that were available when the house was built.
Wow, that's really cool.
And that is why this is such an accurate, beautiful.
Yeah, so we're really lucky to still even have all of these houses around us.
We are, yeah. So, and it's really a labor of love to own one of these places.
Sure,
it's your life.
Yeah.
And many people have spent decades, taking these homes that were divided up and not cared for, and bringing them back, making them beautiful again, turning them back into single-family homes.
Yeah. This neighborhood has lived a lot of lives.
It has, many lives, and it's beautiful, and we're so lucky to have it.
Celebrating vibrant people.
Captivating places and remarkable things.
This is Living West Michigan.
I'm all about you.